in Pelham Bay Park overall. People know when you get off the hutch, you kind of walk in on a lake that has a mast there. And as we get into winter weather, which is coming at some point, that turns into ice. It's a dangerous condition. And we are taking all the steps we can to document this with the relevant agencies. OEM is going to come back here. They're going to be our guests at our February meeting where we're going to talk about emergency preparedness. So this is something we're working on. But again, everything here is partnership. And I'll come right to you, Olga. Everything here is partnership. So what we need from you guys is we all have a phone now. It's our camera. It's our copier. It's our note taker. It's a lot of things. If you see a condition that you view as problematic, email it to us at cityislandrising, one word, @gmail.com, and David and I will make sure it's documented with OEM. They're keeping an extensive list. We've been sending them many photos. You would be shocked with the amount of photos we have. You would think we were creating a catalog of some of the worst drainage issues of the greater Northeast Bronx. But, it is good. And again, we do this together to document these things, to be proactive, because God forbid there's another Hurricane Sandy-like storm and people have to get out of here because we're in a Zone 1 and all these roadways are blocked off. So it's super, super important. Olga, you had a question.
Talking about water and the back.
Yes.
I want to put out a big red alert.
Okay.
Okay. I have had 2 major accidents on that back road. When you come off the circle by the hut.
Yes.
You do not take the main one.
Yes.
Down, you make the second one. That second one is utterly badly lit. It's not lit
Yes. You're right.
The curbs are not there. Okay, and I destroyed one car because I wound up hitting the base of a lamp post that was buried under other stuff. Okay, totally destroyed the car. They wouldn't believe me that I did that in order to swerve away from a deer. Wouldn't believe it, but I did. Okay, and this last time I came down and it was soaking wet, deep in water, no lights. You couldn't see from here, and nothing. And I went on, and I absolutely smacked up the underneath of my car, which is now what I'm trying to deal with.
Yes.
I don't want to take that back road when the weather is bad.
So this was a topic of discussion at the December meeting where we had the DOT commissioner, and he has informed us there is a comprehensive study going on of all the lighting within the park, because we've been dealing with this for 4 years. This is not going to be solved by piecemeal, fixing one light and then another light and then.
They need to put more lights.
They do, and that's what they're looking to do. That's what they're studying. Beyond that, they're also looking to possibly resurface and reconstruct the hutch on and off ramps. One thing we are pushing for immediately is people are taking a hard U-turn when they get off the highway, and they're going the wrong way on the off-ramp, and it's creating a very serious accident. So I'm with you, I hear you, and it's being worked on. Yes, Maria.
I actually almost had that accident.
Yeah.
I got off the hutch. I was coming from Westchester, got off the hutch, and as I came around the bend, there was another car coming at me.
Yeah, no, it's a serious
I was
problem.
able to pull over as best I could, but I could have had a head-on. Maybe if they have signage, wrong way.
They're looking to update the signage as well, and again, this has been put in now for over a year, so we are hoping on a response soon. If Navarro is watching, hopefully this will jog that a little bit, but I will be following up with him, and again, he was here, he heard the concerns directly from many of you, so we're hopeful that this will be resolved quickly and in due time. And we'll have more updates. He's been out. He actually just had a kid, so he's out on his paternity leave. When he returns, we will start this back up with him. Second issue we're really dealing with here is the 1 second, Mr. Blackman. I'll come right back to you. Is we did and Mr. Blackman was actually there at this one. We did the Narcan training. We had about 15 Islanders show up. We did CPR and Narcan. I found it to be a very rewarding experience. And I know that unfortunately, because it was in between the holidays, we got 15 people, that's great. But how many people in the room, by a show of hands, if we did it again, would be interested in a Narcan training? This is where you get treated on the naloxone. Okay, so about half the room. So we'll do it again. We're going to try to do it with DOH and also with another service being offered. So if anyone has any ideas, we're looking for something quick that people can learn in an hour. We are probably going to do a Thrive NYC, which is mental health awareness to help people as well, because DOH says a lot of the substance abuse issues are related to behavioral health issues. So we want to be comprehensive in addressing all of that. The third issue I have here is the Rodman's Neck Committee, the monitoring committee that has been set up to monitor Rodman's Neck. We are having a meeting with the NYPD, some of the top people from downtown who handle construction. It's going to be Wednesday, February 26th at 7 p.m. at Community Board 10, which is 3165 East Tremont Avenue. This is a meeting that's attended by people from City Island, from the general 45th Precinct area, Country Club, Edgewater Park, Locust Point. We're all pushing to find out, we're being told that they need more money than what they've already received. They got $275 million. Apparently they think now they might need even more than that. So these monitoring committee meetings are extraordinarily important if this is an issue that matters to you. Usually we get a crowd that's much smaller than this at these meetings, and it would be lovely to have a packed crowd because that sends a message to the elected officials who are coming, the other stakeholders, the people who have to report downtown. If 50 City Islanders would show up at that meeting, I think somehow they could find the money. Beyond those things, again, we talked about, we had a meeting with Community Board 10 where we did all the stuff with the Office of Emergency Management. I've been in, we've had the meetings of the 45th Precinct Council. It's been going very well. If someone could just move out from the doorway here. The 45th Precinct Council, I spoke to our neighborhood coordinating officer, who is Jessica Geisner. She advised, again, City Island, she said, has an issue where if you see a crime in progress, please call 911. Don't just call her and then leave it on a voicemail. She described an incident where someone was throwing bottles from a building, and the person, I guess, left her a voicemail and then was surprised that the response was not immediate. So just a gentle reminder, if you see a crime in progress, please call 911. And if you're having issues getting a response, the Community Affairs Office is always there for you. It's cao45pct@gmail.com, and we'll put it on our social media accounts. So, again, you can always reach out to the 45th Precinct, and if you have issues getting responses or whatever, there are precinct council meetings and other things you can turn out to. Beyond that, again, this is the start of the year. People are just returning to work. Some people are operating under deadlines and are busy with it, myself being among them. So the raccoon eyes is a symptom of that. So we're still waiting on some of the answers from the DOT, things like Olga brings up. We're waiting on a UPK meeting with Assemblyman Benedetto and other issues that you guys have been bringing to light. If you're not getting an update right now, it's just because we're waiting for the agencies sometimes to get back to us. But we're going to be doing a Q&A in a short while and taking all your priorities down, and then we'll be doing a report out at the next meeting. Yes, Mr. Blackman.
Go backwards.
Okay. Take me back.
To the puddles and swiping on the meters.
Yes.
It's unnecessary to kill deer
Yes.
or any other animals. I have often said, first of all, I drive a very fast car.
I'm sure you do.
I drive as slowly as I possibly can.
Yes.
In City Island, on Ed Hill, and on the other roads,
Mm-hmm.
leading to the hutch.
Mm-hmm.
I drive with the high beams on at night.
Yes.
Get to the cars coming the other way.
Yes.
And drive in the left of the two lanes so that a poor deer
Mm-hmm.
gets a chance as he runs out
Mm-hmm.
to see me and stop, or I get a chance to see him and stop.
Yes.
So, drive slowly, keep your high beams on, drive in the left of the two lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Always in the left of the two lanes.
Drive in the left 2 lanes. That's good. That's good advice.
I'm actually driving the left 2 lanes in the morning when I
Very
go to
few
work.
people I see who do it,
Yeah.
but very few. There's
That's fair.
always somebody trying to pass me in the right lane.
Okay. That's fair. Thank you for the advice, Mr. Blackman. And we did ask, because we can put up 100 deer signs, The signs are not meant from the deer, they're meant for the people.
Right.
And people are speeding in the park, so we have asked that they put up more speed limit signs so people are aware it's a park, not the raceway. And also, they're doing increased enforcement. So for those of you who have gotten tickets, I am sorry, who are probably watching. So this is something we're still working on. Beyond that, just so you know, the Parks Department actually is doing a multi-million-dollar deer study in Staten Island. You can't make this stuff up, where they're looking into experimenting with different types of population control for the deer. And they're anticipating having a response in a few months. And when they do, I will post something online. So those of you who want to hear about the deer and their reproductive habits can do so. And those of you who are looking at me like I have 4 heads don't have to deal with it. Yes, Olga?
Speaking of deer,
Yes.
I swerved in that accident.
Yes.
Avoided hitting a deer that was gonna come at me.
Mm-hmm.
The police department never believed that there was a deer coming,
Okay.
okay? They refused to give me an accident report.
How long ago was this?
This is about 2.5 years ago, 3
Okay.
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wound up losing my car, totaled it out, and I didn't get a nickel from anybody, and I could have if they had indicated that it was an accident. The insurance company wouldn't pay me a nickel. So somebody ought to wake up the police department and explain to them that we have deer in the backyard. Please.
I was at the precinct council. I did do this. We are going to continue. I'm sorry that happened to you. That sounds awful. I'm not sure what we can do about it 2.5 years later, and I'm sorry you're out a lot of money because that sounds terrible, but I'm sorry. Moving on to the next thing, we have Kim, who's going to do a brief treasurer's report and how people can donate online. So let's give her a round of applause.
Hi everyone, I am the treasurer. I have done some treasurerly duties in the last few months. We have established a bank account for the organization. We have a PayPal account as well. I will post that online, but it is cityislandtreasurer@gmail.com is the email address for any treasurer type financial things that go on. So if you at any point need to send money, that would be a good way to do it. We also have a Square account now, so that we'll be able to do sales because we are planning on having a t-shirt sale coming in the spring. We're working on a logo right now, so the logo will go on the t-shirt, and then we're hoping that everybody will proudly wear their City Island Rising t-shirts, and that will act as a fundraiser for the organization. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who donated for Giving Tuesday. We did make $707 from your donations online and at our meeting, so we're very happy to finally have some fluidity in our account so that we can, pay for the various things that we need just to run the organization, and then start working toward doing more projects for the community once we can get a little bit more money coming into the organization. Any questions? All right, I will put the PayPal address on the paper just in case anybody needs it for any reason.
Thank you. Let's give Kim a hand because that's good work. The fact that in one day we raised $700, thank you very much. That couldn't have happened without you. And without further ado, our secretary, Beverly Jones, let's give her a hand.
Hi, so as the secretary, one of my duties is to keep the legal house in order for the organization. And one of the things that we did as a board at our last meeting was to pass a really simple and straightforward non-discrimination policy for City Island Rising. And so I wanted to share that with the group and let you know that we as the board adopted this policy to be consistent with the values that we set this out with, and to just get the sense of the room sort of an affirmation, or if there's changes that you'd like us to consider making. So the resolution that was adopted by the board is as follows. Whereas one of the values of City Island Rising, Inc., which is the formal name of the organization, is to include every member of the City Island community and to be a safe and welcoming environment for all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that City Island Rising Inc. does not and shall not discriminate on the basis of race, color, religion, creed, gender, gender identity or expression, age, national origin, disability, marital status, sexual orientation, military status, or any other category protected by federal, New York State, or New York City law in any of its activities or operations.
Including height and weight.
We can absolutely consider adding those on in. We are committed to providing an inclusive and welcoming environment for all members of the City Island community.
I would make a motion that we pass that. Can someone second?
I second.
All right, let's say Rosa.
Rosa Meyer.
Rosa Meyer seconds, and
Excellent. All in favor?
aye.
All opposed?
Abstentions.
Abstentions?
Unanimous.
Thank you very
Good
much.
work.
Thank you, guys. It's again important that we have our legal house in order. Again, as we're going to be going for grants, stuff like a non-discrimination policies are items that different organizations could look for to make sure we are consistent. And again, either way, it's consistent with our values, as Beverly said, of being inclusive of everyone. Up next is an activity which we're going to need everyone's help with, particularly the people who listen online, is we have made it our business to be as welcoming of new people as humanly possible and make sure that we recognize not only are their voices welcome, but frankly needed if we're going to bring City Island in and work on the improvements to City Island. Everyone's got to be at the table. So this is kind of more of a culture change, but through the great work of Joanne Valletta, who's right here, we have done a welcoming committee, which actually goes out when people buy homes, and goes out with the input of Maria Swizicki, who's a realtor, and other folks, and actually goes out and gives them, welcomes them, tells them how much we look forward to them being in the neighborhood, informs them of our organization, gives them, kind of some information about the Nautical Museum and different shops that are going on and encouraging them to shop locally. So they get a nice packet that Joanne puts a lot of great time into. So if you know of anyone who's moving into a home, that we were actually talking about it the other day at the board meeting, let's get those names, email them to cityislandrising.com so I can give them to our expert here, our master, and she will make sure that they feel welcomed. So does anyone know of anyone who just moved into a house? Yes, sir.
On 38 tier.
38 tier.
Yeah, they moved from Brooklyn, somebody, a professor at LIU.
Yeah, Teresa did tell me that. Okay, good, but that's good. I'd rather get it twice than not get it at all. Anyone else know anybody new who came in or... Go ahead, sir.
Pete Del Debbio from the American Legion.
You just moved here?
No, someone invited me.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for being here. And we'll have you up in a minute, and you could say something because we appreciate you being here, sir. Okay, so any new people who have moved to the island, we want to welcome them. We want them to be a part of this organization. We want them to feel that they have everything, that they have every opportunity to contribute to City Island life. Beyond that, we're going to start with the...
One more name to add to that.
One more name to add. Absolutely, Carrie. Take it away.
Since Joanne's here.
Yes.
Lori, I'll give you, she's on, Down Street.
Great. Someone on
Lori
down.
Lindsay. Okay, I'll give you the exact number when I find it.
Great. Great. Does any other board member have anything they'd like to bring up or address before we kick off our question and answer period? Anybody? Okay. Before we do question and answer period, because Peter's back here and he does lead the American Legion, Peter, why don't you come up and tell a little about your organization, how people can get involved, or anything else you want to share. Peter is also on Community Board 10.
That's really why I'm here.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Let's welcome him. No,
I just wanted to come tonight. I just came from Community Board 10, Parks and Recreation meeting. I'm on Parks and Recreation, and I'm on Municipal Services. But more so, I think Parks and Recreation impacts City Island, and being a Board 10 member, regardless, those are two committees I serve on, but I'm on Board 10. You guys need to know that I exist, and that I represent all of Board 10 with obviously a soft spot in my heart for City Island. So with that being said, I just want to quickly go over some things that are affecting us. Obviously, the city has chosen to switch over from DOC, Department of Corrections, to Parks Department for the purpose of Hard Island. That's already done. Now we have to work collaboratively to make it all move forward. Part of that is the ferry service issue. It was brought up last night, discussed last night at great length. They're leading towards, right now they're leading towards working with New York City Ferry. But obviously keep in mind before that was state DOT. So that all has to be kind of worked out between those two entities. Location. We're, as a Board 10, we're proposing having this ferry service originate at Ferry Point Park, which is under the Whitestone Bridge. So that might also alleviate some concerns. These are things that I'm advocating, but obviously I want your feedback in what direction I should be going in representing you.
Keep going in the same direction.
Okay. Yes, I am the commander of the American Legion. With that being said, I don't want to really go into, I don't want to take too much of your time going into that, but more so, as an organization, I just wanted to introduce myself, come up here, thank you, Joanne, for the invite, but to make sure that you have, and I'll give it to Joanne, she can disseminate it as you guys see fit, make sure you have my information. So anything community related that you want me to take to the board, by all means, I will be a messenger for your concerns.
We appreciate that.
To the ferry, is there any timeline?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
And,
Curious. I didn't think so, but I figured.
yeah, nothing yet.
Okay.
This is my Board 10 information. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question regarding the island and also the public access to it, and also thank you for the issue about where they're coming from, which is rather than where it's coming from now, which is a big plus.
Right.
But there are over 1 million bodies on that island. A lot of them are now coming off on the other side into the water. There's a lot of buildings in there. There's a lot of places in there. What kind of a plan is being propagated so that the population that will come doesn't think about this as an open park for people?
Right. Right now, I can speak to the fact that there is they already got funding, the city already got funding to redo the east side of the island?
Yes, FEMA money.
Yeah, thank you, FEMA money. So that is scheduled, they discussed it, they know it, they have it, it's just a matter of getting the job done.
The east side, you said?
I think it's the
Yeah.
east side, right?
Yeah, no,
East side of the island?
He's absolutely right. They got damaged in Sandy.
Yeah, and then the other thing that came up at Parks was, tonight, was they're gonna start in the fall, they're gonna start work on the edge of the water line around the landfill. So that'll all be redone. I think there's a deteriorating seawall over there along that, so that's gonna be either, they're gonna address that issue. I did, obviously Catherine Scott Park is still a work in progress because of the water main, so we know about that. So those are some of the Parks Department, City Island related issues that I wanted to come and
Thank you for
talk
coming.
about.
But I'm serious about the issue about the number of people.
Yeah.
And the fact is that that's a major cemetery. This is not a public park.
No, I don't think there's, honestly, in my heart of hearts, I don't think there's gonna be any change whatsoever to what happened yesterday as what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
However, all you're changing is from one agency to another. And it actually benefits because, looking ahead, you're gonna have funding that is now going into Parks Department coffer as opposed to, funding going into correction. So I think it's possibly, and I'm hoping, I think it's possibly gonna be a good thing.
Yeah, Olga,
I want to add a little bit to that. So we went over as a group, and this is, again, just my opinion. yes, it's a cemetery with a lot of history. And, you know, just from speaking to the Department of Corrections about it, it was, you know, like, we always think it's like Cottage Field, and there were like people that didn't have anybody. He said that's not the majority of the people that are buried there. They have family that couldn't afford to bury them and stuff. There's also, you know, old churches and stuff. So to me, the funding that they're going to do something that it's a shame because it's amazing. There's, you know, a silo. There's
Civil War.
Civil War. And there's like all of this besides a cemetery. Yes, I get it, and yes, it should be sacred ground, and yes, no, there should not be picnics there. It's my opinion. All of this is my opinion, but I think, look how close we lived to it, and how much did we realize? I didn't know anything about it and stuff. It was just amazing just to, like, walk there and go through there.
And just to echo a little bit what Kerry and Peter said, Olga, and I think what you have said is very important because I think you're echoing a lot of concerns that people in the community have. And I think the important thing that I think we all want you to know is that this is going to be a very long process. There's going to be multiple public input stages. Through the Parks Department, they're going to look to the community board where Peter sits for guidance and input. They're going to be public meetings. We can all go. And that's why we all have to work together with Peter, with the community board, with everyone on the island, all the different groups. Well, hold on a second. And then when this eventually comes to fruition, we will, you know, as plans are coming to fruition, we can make sure that every city islander knows, and if this drives them, they can have a seat at the table.
One recommendation that you consider creating a special committee.
They were actually working on it.
So that there are membership possibilities for
Mhm.
people who would like to participate in that decision-making process going forward.
Okay.
More community input.
Yeah, Olga, absolutely, but I do believe, Peter, and correct me because he sits on board and I do not, I do believe that the board is looking into setting up something.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we will, why don't, because we've all got to work together here, and I think that's something also I want to emphasize more. We're going to work with the board. There's no reason for duplication of that effort. So let's all try to work together. And when this comes up with Peter, with the board, we're all going to be in touch. And Olga, we will now, because you've asked, you know, several questions which are important, we will make sure you know about it, and everyone knows about it. And if this drives them, they can show up, whatever your opinion is.
Now, one last thing before I leave, and I have to leave only because I have my third meeting to go to.
God bless you, sir.
And that's the SAL meeting at the Post. One last thing I want to leave you with, and it's just in this starting phase, but I want to put it in your minds that it exists. We are ramping up for a conversation about the change in the, with Parks Department, the change of the traffic pattern on Pelham Parkway that's going to change the clover leaves, the new clover leaves that are going to put you on from Pelham Parkway onto I-95 north and south. All right?
That's
So
huge.
That's huge, and it's coming. It's coming. Not next week, it hasn't even started, but it's coming. So as that goes forward,
Let us know.
I assure you
Yeah.
that as I get information, I'm gonna disseminate it to
Great.
Joanne and let you guys
Perfect.
stay in the loop.
Yeah.
So I also get your feedback on that. And Parks Department just brought it up tonight as a mention.
Yes.
It's coming soon to a theater near you. But as that takes off,
All right.
as I take off, you'll I'll keep you updated.
Let's give Peter a hand, show him our appreciation. He's got a third meeting he's got to go to. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for your service. Okay, Mr. Blackman, direct the question here, or if you want to speak to him on the side, you speak to him on the side. How about that?
It's important.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I'll give him a round of applause.
We just did. I will give him a second round of applause. Go ahead. Everyone likes Peter. It's fun.
Give him a round of applause for installing a proper sized flag on the flagpole at the end of the bridge.
Oh,
That
yes.
gigantic thing.
Yes. Thank you.
Let me explain the flags.
Okay.
All right. The gigantic flag,
Yes.
we put that out on holidays.
Oh.
Christmas and the New Year's, you know, the major holidays. We'll put the giant flag. The very small flag, which is a nylon flag, that I go through one every week, that flies in the winter. So for the winter season, yes.
It's not gonna be a
Yeah.
holiday.
Exactly. And then in the summer, I have a medium-sized flag, a little bigger than the winter, a little smaller than the holiday flag. So that's the story. We have a committee at the Legion specifically for the flags, and it's myself, Mike Jaworski, Gene Valesio. I think that's it. So you got representative of the Legion and the SAO to kind of deal with the flag. All right, so that's the answer on why you see some are big and some are small.
And we don't discriminate on anyone based on size now, as we just went over.
Yes,
So that's good.
Thank you all very much.
God bless. God bless. Okay. Moving on, because we do have an agenda here. So we're going to do a question and answer period. Is there anyone, and I'm looking for hands here, particularly someone who hasn't asked a question or opined yet. Is there any concern you have going on in the community right now that you don't feel possibly is being addressed? Going once. Going twice.
This is the happiest group of
There is
people I've
nothing
ever
that we
seen.
can improve upon on City Island.
We should give ourselves a round.
We should, yeah, let's give ourselves a round of applause. Let me just, I mean, there's gotta, no one has any sort of concern. Yes, go ahead.
More pedestrian-friendly streets, like crosswalks.
Okay, can we get that down? That's a great, thank you.
Just crosswalks.
Crosswalk, they only put crosswalks at a controlled intersection, but just so you know, they are still, they still have to daylight, which means take away a little bit of parking, but so people can see how to make it more pedestrian friendly. Schofield Street, which I'm on them now very frequently on, and also for Early Street, because Early Street residents asked for it. And if you live on a street and it's difficult to edge out, let us know. We can
Reynolds Street.
Reynolds Street.
Reynolds Street.
Reynolds and Carroll. I think I had Carroll put in already, but I will let you know. And we will look into both of those with DOT, and we will get back to you. So thank you. That's the type of stuff we're looking for here. So Reynolds and
Actually, on Hawkins too, right in front of here to the Black Whale,
Uh-huh.
it'd be nice to have a pedestrian sign and a crosswalk since it's in the center of Central Business District.
Mhm.
Feels like it's not very friendly for people going from the ice cream shop to
Okay.
the gallery in the corner or this very coffee shop here. So on Hawkins, you know, there are cuts in the sidewalk, but there's no crosswalk.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've
It's a
seen,
high
you know,
traffic area.
even just having a sign with a blinking LED light
Mhm.
is enough on the sidewalk to kind of make it a controlled stop. You
Okay.
don't have to put in a new stoplight.
I know for years Paul Klein, this is like one of his major, issues. I will follow with DOT and I'll see where he left off, but I do agree with you. Yes, Nicole.
Hi, question.
Always.
Thanks. Sorry, was I- anyway,
No.
sorry, cold medicine. What?
Stop talking.
Usually can't get me to stop, so that's fine. Anyway, so, water question. I'm noticing, that tap water, has periodically in the last few months, been smelling and tasting a lot like dirt.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's been really uneven. Is it just me?
No.
No.
Okay. That was my
This is
question. I didn't-
part of the Croton water filtration plant. There actually is something wrong. I'll send the article around for everybody. They're working to treat it. No, it's a very fair question.
Have that link also?
Yeah.
To send out?
Yeah, we'll send it out. We'll make a note. We'll send it out. So water discoloration, send out link. I saw you, Miss Monica. You had a question.
Has the daylighting been implemented on Schofield? I haven't noticed.
It has been implemented on one side of Schofield, not the other side, and
Not by the Mason?
not in front of the Masons. For whatever reason, they did it on the fire department side, but they didn't do it on the Mason side. So even though it's been approved, we are going to ask for more enforcement, but we also have to get the signs up. But trust me, I put that in because my family members ask me. So every time I run into my family, someone reminds me that the sign is not up, and what the hell am I doing?
It's very hard, yeah.
You-
It's hard to turn there.
You are 100% right, and trust me, if I don't get it done soon, my life will probably be in danger from my family for not doing it. So, okay, Stephanie, you had your hand up, no? Okay, anyone have any other concern, DOT related, pedestrian? I agree with what's been said here. Anything else? Pedestrian safety? Anything related to that? Okay. Anything related to old business topics we've covered in the past, either with Benedetto, Biaggi, Jonai, the captain, DOT, Community Board 10, anything along those lines? Yes, Nicole and then Monica, yes.
Yeah, sorry. on the empty storefronts. I had a couple ideas that I talked to a couple of our representatives about, and they seemed very enthusiastic about it. So I didn't know if that's a sidebar conversation I could have with one of you, or if something else had happened in the meantime.
What I know is that Senator Biaggi there's some sort of legislation she's working on with Assemblyman Dinowitz, actually, from Riverdale section, and we'll make a note on it, and we'll get that out there for people, just so they're aware of it. But there is some legislation that's being worked on the storefronts, because this is a problem that affects Tremont and Riverdale Avenue, and it is very
You know
important.
what the legislation is?
I don't, so this is good, because this is a to-do list for us after the meeting, where we meet and we just...
Talk about it afterwards, because there's something that I mentioned to both the representatives
Mhm.
and July,
Okay.
in terms of connecting with an arts group called Chishama,
Mhm.
which has been very active in, especially Manhattan, the last 10, 15 years, in terms of doing performance or installation of creative arts works in empty storefronts.
That's wonderful.
Something that I had suggested to Senator Biaggi's office, and they were like, do you have our card? We'd love to talk to you about this. So I thought, great. So before I did that, I wanted to see if anyone else here had already.
What is it called?
Chishama, it's a terrible name. CHA.
Mhm.
SHAMA. It's a nonprofit arts group that has worked with realtors, real estate firms, and property, landlords and things for commercial properties, mostly around Manhattan. They've been doing it for about the last 20 years. And they will work with sometimes city community boards to do a pop-up artisan something like in a
That'd be
neighborhood,
lovely.
or just as a one-off like performance or dance thing like in the store windows. And so when I mentioned to Senator Biaggi as I was walking her to her car about possibly doing something, especially in the off months, and doing something that's sort of like an arts festival related, she goes, "Great, would you like to head that up?" And I'm like, "I guess I am."
Yeah.
So before I had more conversations with her office, I wanted to check in and see if there was anything else here. We'll talk that out.
Yeah, no, let's talk, but that sounds lovely. Roy, and then you had your hand up, did you, miss, right? Yes. Oh, I thought you were, I'm sorry, maybe I'm imagining it. Roy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just maybe kind of a naive question, but
No.
I'm trying to get my head around what the underlying issue is with the empty storefronts. Is it simply that there's not enough business to keep the merchants afloat, to make it profitable, or are landlords warehousing the properties for some kind of tax purpose, or is there like something else going on?
It's a little bit of both.
The tax, it's often been rumored that these businesses get a tax write-off. The New York Senate actually looked into it, and that's not true. And I can send you that report. Actually, the owner of the liquor store, whose name escapes me right now, for what? Jerry. Sorry, Jerry. I'm going to pay for that one next week when I show up. He wrote this excellent white paper explaining some of the challenges on City Island. So I'll make a note and I'll send it to you. And if there are ways we can be helpful. What?
Can you post
Yeah,
that?
sure.
Businesses have to be able to be like multi-purpose.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants it that public. Yeah.
But I think we could summarize some of
Yeah.
the points, right? So
Yeah.
the City Island population is only about 4,200 people, and if you look at most of the other communities where they have thriving small businesses, it's a lot more community residents. So one of the issues is the sheer population of City Island compounded with our zoning, which is a special district zoning, doesn't allow for an increase in density here. So right now, we're sort of capped at this number of people, and this number of people goes to Costco. They don't go to our pharmacy. We shop on Amazon or online and stuff. And so there's the more global context as well, where people are doing online shopping instead of shopping at their stores. So I know Dan Triber has talked about this a lot, and I've definitely done this as well, is figuring out what portion of your paycheck that you could spend on City Island each week. So I've been every week allocating, I shop at the grocery store, that Dominic's has been a huge contribution to this.
Amen.
Bakery, the bird, I mean, here when I have friends in town going to Jerry's for my wine, so like, it's mainly that like, and I think that this has been, as far as I've been seeing from different presidents, people trying to just invest their own wealth in this economy, because the local economy is the island, because if we don't start doing it, you're not gonna have different people wanting to invest in the island, like, business owners.
Well, and you know, what Dan said, is just even if it's not, you spend like a couple of dollars a day. So think about it, so even if you don't shop here every day, because that's difficult for just from my own opinion, is the other businesses that open here have to be, they kind of almost have to be multi-purpose. You know, they have to have, you know, like, I always think like we would do great if we had a vet that was a groomer.
Yeah, yep.
You know, that sold pet supplies, right? So it'd have to be multi-purpose, but like, you have to find that right person that's willing to make that investment. So it's hard to find a business that could be multi-purpose, you know, and sustain.
Wait a
And the
minute.
place could be really good because there are a lot of pets on the side.
And back here?
Also another issue with the storefronts, like say you want off-island business as well, so like during the summer season, you want people to be able to go eat and then, you know, walk the strip and go to this shop and that shop, like a little Provincetown.
Destination.
Or, yeah, something like that, but if these locations can't provide parking, that becomes a huge issue. And since most of the parking lots, parking spaces are owned by some of the larger restaurants, they wouldn't encourage public parking in the restaurants, only customer parking in the restaurants. So that, again, creates sort of a lack of customers for these storefronts that would otherwise be very popular.
And I'll add to that and say a little bit of a controversial statement, probably for Olga. I actually want the ferry to come to City Island because I have a car, but I'm pro public transportation. I bike, I walk, I take the bus and the train whenever I can. And I know that it is really difficult for a lot of off-islanders to come here when it's car and a delayed bus. That is the main thing. So if we were able to integrate the ferry service in from Soundview to City Island, that brings more Bronxites here. And I know a lot of Bronxites come here because this is the best place to get fried seafood and a great drink on the weekend. And so we're basically helping to support the economy with like the access to transport.
And then hopefully like people from Manhattan that take a ferry to Ferry Point Park and pick up the ferry to come to here, you know what? It happens. I mean, people now, I mean, the Roncois have it and they're thriving with a ferry. Thriving and love it. You know, take the ferry to the city and then, you know, like all over.
And building on that, one thing that we heard when we did our big visioning meeting here back in April was from residents in particular, people want an all of the above transportation plan. So we, as a board, have been speaking to our elected officials, speaking to other stakeholders. We're lucky we have someone like Lauren on the board who's very knowledgeable, particularly as it comes to ferry service. Others of us have been working on, you know, the bus is going to expand. The bus is going to be 24/7. It's going to be increased service for us. It's going to run overnight. That's going to be helpful. We've been pushing, you know, for biking. You know, some people might like to do the rent-a-bikes and things along that nature. So we have to. I agree with a lot of what Lauren just said, in that we've got to be very forward-thinking here, because what we've been doing, particularly as it relates to small business, you know, and it's not. The chamber is doing what they can. They're doing their street fairs and they're doing different things to bring out people to business. So I don't want this to be any way. Yeah, so you have to watch what you say when you're on camera here, because I don't want to get back, oh, I insulted the chamber. Far from it. The chamber is doing the best that they can and all that they can in a difficult environment. So I'm not insulting the chamber. But we all, as a community, need to have voices here. We need to help. We need to spend money here. And we have to be forward-thinking. And I know that, you know, one of the issues that I've been getting from a lot of the younger people, and I've actually just spoken to someone at the company, is a company like Uber Eats won't even put City Island on the map. So I have been in conversations with their government relations team trying to change that. And we had the jump bikes proposal where we came in here and we said, look, they should examine jump bikes, and that was immediate. That was a few months later. They not only didn't they not expand jump bikes throughout the Bronx, they canceled their whole contract. And yet City Bike is only available in nowhere near here. And we're on the doorstep of the city's largest park. So we need all the voices there. We have to be forward thinking, and we need to have an all of the above approach. So again, if people have things they'd like to contribute, particularly with the small business side, let's have a conversation on the side. But this is important, and I think we got this down there. Does anyone else have a question? Because I thought the question was very thoughtful. Sir.
I have a completely nutty idea.
Go for it. No idea is too nutty.
We've got this huge parking lot
Yes.
up in Orchard Beach.
Yes.
What if we had a ferry service?
That has, there has been a petition that has started that has over 700 signatures to further that idea. Absolutely.
I think
It's not nutty.
park there.
Yeah.
Park on City Island.
Yeah.
It's all
That's
put out there,
that's
right?
a concern too. Yes, miss.
So this, I'm sorry, this petition,
Yeah.
where is it?
Right now, it's on change.org. We have promoted it on our social media. We did a big push for it last year. We're going to do another push for it. Love help.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, this is something we have been speaking to our elected officials about. And again, what sometimes I think we have to be cognizant of is that we all have our opinions. I have my opinions as well, as everyone knows. And we agree that things should be a particular way, like the parking lot idea. A lot of people might be favorable to that. But we also have to keep in mind that we have to work collectively to move the ball forward. And maybe the powers that be at EDC, which is the Environmental Development Corporation, which monitors the city ferry system, are going to decide maybe it makes sense for it to come from somewhere else in our general area. And we have to all work together to at least get on the map. So I want to take your concern, kind of marry it a little bit with what Lauren said. She wanted one coming from here. And right now, our biggest thing is, what is the board's consensus? And that's pay attention to us. And based on the conversations and the meetings we've been having with Senator Biaggi, with Assemblyman Benedetto, we're working towards a meeting with EDC eventually, with our elected officials, to say, don't forget about us. But, sir, you're being heard. I mean, I was even in a meeting recently with AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, our congresswoman, and this came up, and she was really interested in this. So you are not speaking just for yourself. Lauren.
I'm just gonna plug in two things. So, the Waterfront Alliance is putting together the next 10-year waterfront study, and that is something that both John, I, and Louisa from the board are participating in, because that's an opportunity with this plan to sort of envision what ferry service could look like.
Yes.
And then the second thing that I want to say, that it's eluding me as I'm saying it, is going to come to me when I am.
And we're going to come right back to you at that time. Did anyone else have a question, wants to get in on this set before Lauren thinks? Raina, as a business owner.
Well, this is a small business thing.
Yes.
I just wanted, Dan and I have talked about this for a long time.
Of course.
It's like hundreds of people come into the store in the summertime, and I always send them, Johnny's, Sammy's, Crab Shanty. I always send them the Black Whale, obviously, but it's just like everybody comes here to eat, and barely anybody comes here to shop. And everybody comes into my store and they go, "What can I do here?" And there's like I can count on my hand things for them to do, except for wander the streets and look at the historical buildings.
Yeah.
So it's like our whole thing is, like, if you work with the restaurants and said, hey, you get a 20% discount in my shop if and that's at Johnny's, that's at Sammy's, that's whatever, and then I send them to, I'm always giving them business. I mean, they don't need my business, but I'm just sort of saying, like, we could work together.
Well, and the owners of Ohana, for the month of December,
Yes.
said any City Islander who wants to come in gets a discount, and if you show us a receipt that you've bought something on City Island, which is great, and that's really incredible. And I'm wondering if there are things that we can do as a community to continue to forge that. And I know that Lauren and Dan have a committee working on these issues.
Maybe.
I remembered what I was gonna say.
Oh.
The second part of my argument for why I envision this ferry coming here has to do with the jobs that it could potentially bring. So City Island has a historic legacy as a maritime community, and specifically building boats. If the ferry service were to have its last stop here, right, as part of the 5 boroughs, we could potentially work with the EDC as having City Island, the Bronx, as the place where the ferries are renovated, fixed, built, etc. So that would be like great jobs for the Bronx. So thinking about our community, thinking about the jobs that they can storefronts, retaining the different yards that we
That's
have.
kind of our where we began, right?
Exactly. And so that's another reason, why the heck would we not want that?
And that's why we want Lauren on the committee to deal with these things. Olga, Nicole, and then I'm going to say something real quick. Go ahead, Olga.
It's a very quick one.
No, it's fine.
One of the magical things about City Island is that it's really an artist community. It's an artist community that doesn't have itself out there as an artist community. And I don't see any reason why we can't become the Greenwich Village of marketing program in terms of inviting other participants onto the island. We will bring a lot of other people who will also come and spend money, because that's what people do when they walk through Greenwich Village and go from shack to shack.
Well, I think that goes
May-
along with what Lauren said about the ferries and stuff,
Mhm.
and, you know, like we talked about Catherine Scott Promenade Park, you know, utilize that for
Yeah.
everything, like, we should be.
We
on
should.
weekends and stuff, and, or, you know, whether it be a weekly, you know, weekend art shows, or, you know, a really good farmer's market. You know, I appreciate that they do a farmer's market in Preston on Tuesday nights, but between 5 and 7 doesn't really work for me, but on weekends, or, you know, in the mornings and stuff, you know, you bring people here for that.
And I reached out to the Preston people. I have not yet had a call with them, but I know they actually happen to watch this video. So, Chris, if you're watching, I will call you tomorrow. Nicole, you had something, and then...
So, this is something that I've discussed with a couple of people here at the site meetings, and the things that, no disrespect, this is something that I've been asking about for the last, I don't know, 6, 9
No
months.
disrespect.
No one gets back to me, nobody follows up. I keep asking about this, and people keep saying, what about your passport idea? And I'm like, I'd love to, but every time I go and hang out over at the Snug, we, like, I'm sorry, but has been no side conversation. So, idea, again, one more time, I'm gonna say it to everybody, so that next time when it doesn't come up again, you can ask me again about it. City Island Passport.
Yeah.
Now, this is a promotional thing that I've done in other neighborhoods, in other areas, for street councils, for like the
Yeah.
Franklin Street in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I said, hi, we have all these little boutiques and cool things opening up. Why don't we have, a walking map?
Yeah.
Here's what you
I
have.
was just-
So that when I am filling in for Dan and Raina, and people come up to me and they go, gosh, I've never been out here. I ask them, is this your first time here? Yes, what brought you out here? It's usually the City Island movie, God bless. Second thing, maybe they read about it in Time Out, God bless. Nobody photocopied that, no one's put that up, except for making copies that we, stuck up, up at the store. So when they're asking, where should I go? And I said, what do you feel like? How much energy do you have? Do you have kids? How walkable are you? How much time do you have? And then I'll draw a map. We don't have one. Why don't we have one? I keep asking about this, and I've asked Dan about it, and there hasn't been any follow-up. Secondly, the City Island Passport idea, that in virtually every participating business, they have advertising in it. It's like a little handbook. You should guide to City Island. And every time you come into the coffee shop, you get a stamp. A distinct rubber stamp, and after you've gotten 5, 10, whatever the hell it is, you stop in another business and you get, a free keychain or whatever the hell it is, to encourage people to stop into all of those other things. This is so easy to do. I've been talking about this, and nobody's...
Well, Nicole, I'm gonna put you on the spot. So what I'm gonna do is, and this is on video, so people can hold me to this or burn me in effigy afterwards. I am gonna match your intensity, and you and I are gonna sit down before the next meeting, and we're gonna come up working with other members of the board here. It will not just be you and I. We will come up with the concept and work with the others. I know people have tried to start it, so let's sit down together. Let's figure it out. There is a map, if I'm not mistaken, in Joanne's. But just hold on one second, because it's also important that we recognize, and this is not our group, but other people's contributions. But I believe the Nautical Museum has a walking map of City Island as well.
We have the map in our
Yeah.
packet. Every store should have it. And we also.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Let's look into.
We also have coupons.
Yeah, let's.
The idea is.
Yeah.
The beginning.
And that's what I was going to say, is that Joanne has worked on a lot of this. And to be fair, I went and spoken to some shop owners. I know Stephanie has went, and Joanne and others. And I know, for example, Dan and Raina give like a $5 discount. When they go to the new people, you can get like for the welcoming committee, you get a free draft beer at the Snug. That's a pretty good deal. That gets people into the store.
Yeah, but that's only for residents. It's not for tourists. It's not for people who are visiting.
Okay.
It's
So,
for the high
all right,
season.
Nicole, but let's not make good the enemy of the perfect, and let's talk afterwards and let's figure out something.
So, this is on record.
Yeah.
Let's start doing this now, so that when the high season hits, we actually have somebody to handle.
Okay, hold on.
That's what I mean.
Go ahead.
Well, we used to have a trolley that would do every Fridays, and they would send out one of those pamphlets with 5% off here, 5% off there, 15% off here. So we did do this, and then it ended because they stopped the trolley. So we can do something like that again. I'm sure all the restaurants who already did it would be on board.
And we're going to work, exactly right, John, and we're going to work with the chamber. Nicole, I appreciate the passion and the intensity, and this is good, right? Because we want to hold other people accountable, but sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable. And we're trying to do a lot right now, and you and I, Nicole, let's meet afterwards, and let's try to get the ball rolling on this, okay?
I'd be happy
It's all on video. So I am promising to meet with you, and I know other people here, I see a lot of nodding heads. This will be a team effort. But you're going to help us.
I've been saying this.
Okay.
It's the same.
Okay. All right. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to add? On business, on, yes, miss?
I agree with Nicole, that's it.
Okay. Good. Let's give Nicole a round of applause, because actually, we have to,
Mention this for City Island.
yeah, for mentioning this and also for tough love that came out of this, because we need to take, this is exactly right, we need to take people who have passion and intensity and want to do things and work with them to get it done. Yes, Open.
Can we get the trolley back?
I think it cost us, how much did that cost? It costed, like, it was a big
Bob
grant.
didn't make that much money off
Yeah.
it. That's what you're asking me.
Our husband used to run the trolley. She didn't want to say that, but he used to actually go on there. He'd have something like this, and he'd do the tour. So.
I have a request.
Okay.
Some of the recommendations.
Okay.
Okay? I think that it would be appropriate
Mhm.
if we reached out to the community boards
Mhm.
here and requested funding for a trolley on the weekends on City Island
Okay.
for not 8 out of the 12 months of the year.
Well, we're going to meet to discuss the passport idea, which is Nicole's idea. It's a very good idea. And let's take that first, because again, as Teresa said, they had the funding and no one utilized it. So let's try to build something organic first. And, success builds success, right? So let's start with Nicole's idea, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the trolley. Ben.
Actually,
And let's all give Ben a round of applause for making all this coffee for us. Peter for opening the shop. Go ahead, Ben.
Of the passport idea, we have, he's not the captain of the ferry to Hard Island.
Mhm.
He's like the boatswain, or I don't know
Yeah.
the technical term. But people ask him, what can we do after we pay our respects?
Alright.
And so, I mean, I'm sure a passport would be great there.
Okay.
It's all the little places that people kind of show up.
We're going to have to get this idea off the ground, but you know what? It sounds like there's a lot of passion behind this, and that's really good, right? Because at the end of the day, if we can do something that improves the business climate here, working with the chamber and working with others, that's positive. Does anyone else have anything they want to add for the question and answer period? Okay. Does anyone have anything they want to add in terms of old business, something we discussed at a meeting that we haven't done already that people want an update on? Something that came up at an old meeting and you're wondering where it is. Does anyone have anything for old business? Okay. New business. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Old business.
We spoke about if there was an emergency situation,
Mhm.
the nearest place for us to evacuate is Lehman.
Lehman College.
That's how it stands. It's not
Oh.
place closer.
This is a great feed-in because at the next meeting, we're going to have the Office of Emergency Management. It's going to be the second Thursday of the month like we're doing now. We're going to try to keep this rhythm going. It's going to be at Archie's most likely. We have it reserved, but it depends on how many people we're going to get, and we're going to work together. So that's an issue we're going to have to bring to OEM. But that's a very good issue. I don't know how we're going to get to the... Yeah. That's...
You're right. And
Yeah.
people brought up that, if we had people that kind of get from Pilot Cove there, so there's a lot of thought that really needs to go into that, because it's not very easy.
Pilot Cove has in the past, sometimes, this is back not with the current management, but with past management, there have been some interesting negotiations about evacuation. So we'll see, but no, definitely it is a issue. We have vulnerable people here, vulnerable populations, and we need to address that. So 2 things before we break that people wanted me to say is, one, this Saturday right here, the Grace Tones, which is a singing band, are going to sing and going to perform between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. So come on down here. You'll hear some Grace.
Oldies, right?
Yeah,
No,
not oldies.
No, music.
No, music isn't exactly oldies.
Okay.
In terms of what you might think oldies are. It's like songs like You Are My Sunshine and kind of older songs that the group usually
Saturday.
at nursing homes and stuff. But because they're a group from City Island, they want to start just singing to their community.
That's right. Yeah. So, again, right here, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then I believe starting at, what is it? Starting at 3.
Jerry Landy is, his photo exhibit, which hangs on the walls. There's going to be a whole thing here for Jerry, and we want to support Jerry. He's great. And come on out here. And do we have any update on the pizza place or no?
They always say weeks, they say weeks.
Okay.
They're weeks out.
We will post it when we have it. And
52 weeks out.
Also, exactly.
short film night.
When is that short
Oh yeah, short film night.
Saturday, February 1st at 7 p.m.
Saturday, February 1st at 7 p.m. Short film night right here at Clipper Coffee.
Curated by Jerry Landy.
Curated by Jerry Landy. Jerry, he's quite a guy, that Jerry Landy. Yeah, he is. Okay, well, if no one else has anything, we're going to break. Onwards and upwards to the next meeting. Happy New Year. Thank you all for turning out. Bye.